In the introduction to the book, Live Your Calling, the authors describe a Federal Express commercial that parodies the movie Castaway, starring Tom Hanks, who played a FedEx worker whose company plane went down, stranding him on a remote island without human companionship for 5 years. Looking like the bedraggled Hanks from the movie, the commercial begins. The FedEx employee in the commercial walks up to the door of a home holding a package. When the woman comes to the door, he explains that he survived 5 years on an island, protecting this package in order to deliver it to her. Curious, he asks her to reveal what is in it. Opening the package and displaying the contents, the woman replies that there was nothing of great importance, just a GPS navigational device, a compass, a satellite telephone, a water purifier, and assorted seeds. The commercial communicates a spiritual irony that in all those years, he had all that he needed to find his way home just within reach. There's nowhere to go, writes poet Uriah, mountain dreamer. What you're looking for is right here. Open the fist clenched in wanting and see what you already hold in your hand. When we think about the meaning of our lives, we can get very serious very fast and enter into a crisis of courage, a feeling of overwhelm and dread that whatever decision we make, whatever choice we decide on, may never be made correctly, and we may never find a way to feel at home in our world, in our communities, even in our own skin. There's a persistent urging in most of us, a nagging voice that communicates a dissatisfaction with a part of our lives, sometimes even the whole of our lives, a wonder perhaps, a what if that latches onto visions of that better life somewhere else. We as a culture look to the famous or the rich or the successful and set our sights to those kinds of lives, leaving us wanting in our own. And for those of us that aren't ensnared by the temptations of the commercial good life, there may be simple distractions of too many choices. With the overwhelming amount of information available to us every moment, we may wonder how we can possibly choose the way to live that suits us well. And then, of course, there's the self-doubt, the you aren't good enough tyranny, which again is broadcast on a daily basis from the world of marketing and the pull of consumption and consumerism. Get this thing, go that way, find this cure for the life or body or relationship that is better than yours. This is a powerful distraction that keeps us from ever feeling at home. A powerful distraction that keeps us from being truly present to one another, something this world so deeply needs. Joseph Campbell, renowned 20th century scholar of mythology, addressed this calling simply. The privilege of a lifetime, he said, is being who you are. The privilege of a lifetime is being who you are. We tend to overthink our lives. We tend to underestimate our being. We drive ourselves with assumptions of what we should be doing, of how we are supposed to be, of the ultimate goal of a worthy life. We think we're getting something done when we can find something wrong. We think we're being wise when we focus our minds on how we fall short and of what could have been or must someday be. By doing this, we're wasting time within the drama of me. Me not good enough, me who is much better than this, me who is disabled by the circumstances that I am in, me who has to react to you. This keeps us from our thriving selves. Thich Nhat Hanh, Vietnamese Zen Buddhist, once recounted a story told by the Buddha. There once was a couple of acrobats. The teacher was a poor widower, and the student was a small girl named Mina. The two of them performed in the streets to earn enough to eat. They used a tall bamboo pole, which the teacher balanced on the top of his head, while the little girl slowly climbed to the top. There she remained while the teacher continued to walk along the ground. Both of them had to devote all their attention to maintain perfect balance and to prevent any accident from occurring. One day the teacher instructed the pupil, "Listen, Mina, I'll watch you and you watch me so that we can help each other maintain concentration and balance and prevent an accident. Then we'll be sure to have enough to eat." But the little girl was wise and answered, "Dear Master, I think it would be better for each of us to watch ourselves. To look after oneself means to look after both of us. That way I'm sure we will avoid any accidents and will earn enough to eat." And the Buddha said the child spoke correctly. The work that we must do is balance ourselves, find ourselves worthy, and enter into covenant from that place. When we face our lives as they are, we must come to understand that our limitations are not cause for disdain. Who we are is far more powerful for us than who we are not. That may sound simple, but most of us yearn to be who we are not because we fear that we're not enough. And we waste a lot of our good energy on disdaining the beauty that we are. Unitarian Universalist minister Forrest Church wrote in his book Love and Death, which was his last book before he died of cancer, "I came up with a mantra that has served me as well in sickness as it did before in health," he wrote. "Want what you have, do what you can, be who you are." Want what you have, do what you can, be who you are. So often we assume we should be someone better or different or wiser or luckier. We think we should be doing this or getting into that. We should know better. We should have more. We should be. We should know. We should have. We should do. We should on ourselves. With the tyranny of should, we distract ourselves from who we really are, how we came to be, and what we have to offer. With the standard of should, we overwhelm I am, avoiding the very presence that will calm us, inspire us, create us, and ease us into well-being. I am calls us into our fullness and gives natural shape to our being. I am is our inborn belonging. When Moses, overwhelmed by a sense of presence clearly beyond his knowing, asked what was amongst him at this time, what was beckoning him, the answer he received was, I am that I am. Well-being, feeling at home in the universe, is a quality that we're all capable of. If we cannot find this place of knowing, then something is wrong, something is blocked or imprisoned within us. We're stuck somehow. But if we believe we're capable of finding a sense of home within ourselves, then we begin to try new approaches. We find the help we need. We seek the wisdom that will support us. We come to religious communities for strength found therein and hope affirmed. We put ourselves into our daily task lists and give ourselves a break. We change relationships. We give up false securities. We become willing to see more clearly. We then can accept the gifts we have and come to want them, knowing that we belong in the world as our true being. This is when the traps of envy, jealousy, self-doubt, comparison to others, hero worship, and imitation dissolve. From there, we find life open and full and ready to receive who we blessedly are. From there, we can truly enter into covenant. Who am I, writes Indian mystic Ravi Ravindra. Out of fear and out of desire, I betray myself. I am who I am not. I cover my face with many masks and even become the masks. I'm too busy performing who I think I am to know who I really am. I'm afraid, he writes, I may be nothing other than what I appear to be. There may be no face behind the mask, so I decorate and protect my mask, preferring a fanciful something over a real nothing. When we summon ourselves to the top of the should-be mountain, we trudge upward through presumptions and prejudices, masks, expectations, judgments. We haul the load of self-assessment up the deep slope like Sisyphus, never quite getting to that place of meaning. We let ourselves fall back due to circumstance or opinion and carry the load once again with determined hope that we can find what we're looking for. But what we are looking for is with us all the time. Want what you have. Do what you can. Be who you are. In most cases, we sabotage our potential to come who we most powerfully are by overlooking our greatest power. It's not our talents, contacts, heritage, or even our material wealth or worth. It's not our accomplishments or competitive edge or experience or position in society. Our greatest power is the urging of our being that brought us into life. The wisdom of what we could most gracefully be all along. And that is what we need in this world, so hungry for healing and recognition of worth. What we need in this world is authentic being, because then we can truly recognize another's worth, which leads us to see that oppression, violence, predatory competition, and negligence has no place in the fullness of our lives together. Now, this is countercultural, I know, because a true beckoning of being taps into our inner authority regarding life, which makes us less prone to be controlled by others. So then we're less likely to run out and buy those must-haves or scramble to keep up with the status quo. We will be less prone to negative imaging of ourselves. We won't heed the urgings who tell us we need fixing, who tell us we need to find success. We're also kept in fear for our survival these days, being encouraged to spend our life energy on preventing something from happening to us, rather than gathering our strength to praise the power of life in us. Now, claiming ourselves can be scary, but it's where our true power lies, and where, in fact, the health of the world dwells. The world needs our blessed claiming of I am. Each time one of us taps into that power of being, we spread light and love and courage to those we touch. Each time one of us calls to our essence, we heal brokenness and come closer to balancing our lives. Last Thursday, Milton residents and clergy from the Milton Interfaith Clergy Association gathered at the Milton Cemetery around Miriam's grave, a grave that was built by Miriam's brother and meant to commemorate the death of 1.5 million children who died in the Holocaust, and that grave was desecrated. There was some vandalism, and there's still unclear what exactly happened. But we brought ourselves to that place to claim the worth of our being, to beckon justice and belonging, and that we all dwell together. And we want to dwell together in peace, in vibrant diversity, in honor of each other. Now that might seem like a small claiming of I am, but in fact, this is the practice of finding ourselves as one, healing brokenness and affirming the desire for all life to thrive. We must practice this knowing to find it firmly in our lives. May there be kindness in your gaze when you look within, comes the words of this morning's reading by John O'Donohue. May you never place walls between the light and yourself. Let us come to the knowledge of the power of our being and welcome the claiming of our belonging so that we can find a way of dwelling that enhances life's calling to a just and compassionate world.